Okay, so thank you all for taking the time to come and chat with me tonight about taxes and about making a budget. I'm going to start with the budget and then we'll move to taxes, just because I feel like they work hand in hand, and that way you can start planning for yourself. And my business budget is super simple. Katie, I know you can zone out during this because Katie is one of my rock star frontline, and she knows all about this and hears me harp about this a lot. This is something that's super close to my heart because I hate to see new consultants come into this business and feel like they need to go broke to try to make this business work. You do not. You basically just need your kit. Okay. Everything else looks super shiny and fun. And I saw somebody post earlier and I forgot to go back and comment on it. I'm so sorry if you're in here asking about from the Scentsy family store what you need. You don't need anything. You don't. Okay. If you start making a little extra money and that's something you want to spend on, budget for it. But please don't think that that's something you need to do, or that you need to have a lot of stock, or that you need to have this, that, and the other thing to have a successful business. You do not. You do not. So please don't feel like you need to. I'm
Molly.
gonna start. Yes, sorry.
This was Heidi. That was actually me that asked that question. And
Okay.
my thing is, I was just kind of getting at, like, does everybody do bags? Because, like, I don't want to take it in a grocery bag to someone. I mean, is that okay? Or like,
Oh yeah, bags are fine. I order my bags from the Scentsy family store, but I don't actually get them from the store. You can bundle those with an order, so you don't have to pay shipping on it.
And that's what I did. Okay.
Perfect. Yep, that's true. And I know lots of other consultants who don't love the bags, and they will instead order like paper bags off of Amazon. I mean, everyone does it a little bit differently. It's completely up to you. I do like our bags because it says Scentsy right on them. It's clear so they can see what's in there if they're getting them at work. And then someone, sees, oh, you got Scentsy. I mean, it's all clear. It's right there. They have to show it off. So I personally like those, and I need to look again because the large ones have been out of stock and I need to order some more. Thank you for that reminder. So good. I'm glad you were in here because I wanted to write on there too that there's not a whole lot you need, and check first to see if it's something that you do need, if you can add it to an order, because there are a lot of things that you can add to an order as opposed to just having to buy it from the store and pay all that shipping. Don't do that. That's another money saving tip. Don't do that. So I'm going to screen share with you guys here. And I apologize if I get any like messages from people and they start to message me, because I know sometimes it doesn't show that. So here, I'm going to screen share here with you first, and I'm going to show you, one second, try to make this smaller. So this is an example of what my business budget would look like. Okay. I took the one from 2020. So just imagine that this is 2021 here, there. Okay. So when you get your Scentsy paycheck, let's say for purposes, let's say you had $500. Okay. 15% of that, and you can change these numbers. These are not the end all be all numbers that you have to choose. Please, by any stretch of the imagination, you can change these. So let's say you need to spend a little more on your business this month. Then, by all means, put more into your business. If you need to have more in family money, if you're having something going on where your Scentsy money needs to go to your family money, by all means. But this is what I use because I want to make sure that I am setting myself up for success and to make money rather than putting all my money back into my Scentsy business, if that makes sense. So let's say you made $500 today. Happy payday. Woohoo. So if you're going in there, then you take 500 and you times that, 500 times 0.15, that's 15%. So $75 I could put back into my Scentsy business. Guys, that's a lot of money. That could be getting yourself the Scent and Warmer kit of the month and setting yourself up to have all those bars, because now we're back to having 9 bars. That could be just going back to your website. That could be buying bags. That could be whatever you want it to look like when you're spending money on your business. That's what that goes towards. Now, when you take that 500 times 20, that's your taxes. So roughly 20% goes back into taxes. Let's say you only made, this year, $5,000. You probably won't have to pay into taxes. I'm just saying, I mean, depending on what your family situation is, you won't potentially have to pay in. But this is just going to cover your butt if for some reason you have to. Then you can go ahead and put that towards it. If not, you can move all this up to your business money and be like, woohoo, I have, if you saved, however, let's say you did earn $5,000. I'm just doing the math on my calculator here because I am not good at math, guys. Don't think you have to be a math person to do this. You don't. Okay. So that would be $1,000. If you made $5,000 in a year, that would go towards taxes. Hey, you could save that and put that towards your business. You could save that. And let's say, you earn Disney and we still get to go. That's $1,000 that you can spend at Disney. That's $1,000 that you can put back to your business that you could spend on Scentsy Family Reunion if we end up going to Scentsy Family Reunion. So that's kind of, I always save for this, but there's been years where I don't have to pay in and I can roll this money somewhere else. Okay. Now, travel, that's going to be $50. What I mean by travel, I mean gas to get to events. I mean, if you do go to Scentsy Family Reunion, that can be money that comes out for your hotel. That can be money that comes out for food while you're there. This is a really versatile way, but the thing is that you spend it on Scentsy events because that again is going to end up being a tax write-off that we'll talk about in a few minutes here. And then the last little bit is family money. So taking that, 500 and subtracting everything that you earned. So look, 500 minus the 75 for business, minus the 100 for taxes, minus the 50. So 275 is going to go right back to your family and you can spend that however you want. Again, you can adjust these numbers to look like whatever you want. You can adjust these numbers so that they reflect what you need from your business and what your life needs from your business right now. I mean, don't feel bad if you have to put a little more into your business right now because you need more catalogs. We're starting out a brand new catalog. If you need more testers because people are champing at the bit to get that testers out of your hands and you need a second set. I mean, think about how you are going to use this money and adjust accordingly. Okay. I just hate to see people going broke or having to take. And this is one thing that Orville says, and I'm sure Katie's going to laugh because she's going to know exactly what I'm saying the minute he says it. But Orville always says, spend Scentsy money on family. Do not take family money and spend it on Scentsy because that's not helping your family. That's not helping you. You are not doing yourself a service if you're having to rob your own bank account to pay for Scentsy stuff. Okay. Scentsy should pay for itself in what you earn and then go from there. Okay. I see somebody raising their hand. You have a question? You can unmute yourself.
No, it was just me saying that I've been spending money that I shouldn't be.
Okay. And I've been there. Believe me, I have been there. It's just been rough and something comes up and you feel like, or you really need that new jellyfish buddy that's coming out, or you really need that otter buddy, or whatever the case. This is just, if you're not great at math or with money, like I have been in my past, this is a great way to start getting yourself disciplined. And it's a really nice, easy way to just start, to just have a plan and to just, clear Scentsy bags of chips. Sorry, I thought that was it. But it's a great way to get yourself with your ball rolling if you don't know where to start, because it can get overwhelming, especially if you start making a lot of money off the bat. You're like, oh, hey, I'm making all this money. Well, make sure too that if you're making all that money that you're saving for taxes and then you're not spending it all. And then all of a sudden tax time comes around and it's like, oh, hey, girl, guess what? Pay up. And you're like, oh, crap, I wasn't planning for this. So I just want to make sure that by having a budget in place, it gives you a lot more peace of mind. All right. Because I think we've all been in a place where it just gets scary and you're like, oh crap, where is that going to come from? How am I going to do that? This sets you up for success in those situations. Okay. Now, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what I do. So for taxes, and Marie, jump in here anytime you want to. Go right ahead because, you know, there's plenty of opportunity, and Jesse too, and Katie too, if you guys see something that you want, you know, want to add to this. But this is essentially what I set up for myself when it comes to planning for taxes. So you'll see I have a column here, office supplies and expenses. Anything that I spend on my business, where when it comes to supplies I get from the Scentsy family store, and it's really easy to go back and find those because you just search your name. I buy all my stuff, that I try to buy everything I can underneath my name. So when it's tax time, I pull up my name for the year and I can just start writing those numbers down. It's all right there. I just go to my workstation, I go to orders, and you know, I count up. So all I get the scent in the warmer every single month. That's going to go underneath office supplies here. The scent in the warmer of the month is going to go underneath here. So I start adding up and I say, okay, this month it was, you know, $89, and this month it was $59, and this month it was this and this and this and this. And you just start adding that up. Stuff that you save your receipts for. Let's say you go to, you know, home, you know, Office Max for a new chair, or you get a printer, or you get a new computer. Anything like that is going to go underneath this office supplies. So this year, I ended up getting myself a new computer and a new printer because I knew that by having, sorry, I'm just pulling up the chats to see if there's any other questions here. Why is it saying 30 messages? Okay. Okay. 20%. Sorry, for taxes, general percentage, it depends on where you live. So you can look it up there. This is just what the consultant I learned this from suggested to me. So I just go by that. And so far I've done really well. I haven't had to pay in yet. But knocking on wood, we had a really great year this year. So I'm just crossing my fingers for this year. Anyway, so I bought a new computer this year. I bought a new office chair. I bought, you know, stuff for my office because I knew that I didn't go to Scentsy Family Reunion this year. That in itself is usually at least $1,000 write-off, because you can write off your hotel, you can write off your food, you know, anything like that. Those are all great write-offs. But if we're not going, if we're not doing that, then unfortunately, you don't get those write-offs. You have to find the write-offs in other places. So anything that you spend on office supplies, like I said, office supplies and expenses goes in here. All right. I suck at it too, Carrie. She says, I suck at documenting and organizing. This is what my envelope looks like. Oh no, that's not it. I have multiple envelopes around that say like 2020 receipts, and I throw everything in there. I've already started going through them, so that's why this is small like this. But I save all my receipts. If I buy it online, I have Gmail. What I do is I set up an account that just says Scentsy. It's like a Scentsy mailbox. Anything that I buy for my business, when I get the receipt in my inbox, immediately goes right there. Immediately. Because that way, at the end of the year, I just go and I find the ones from 2020 and I'm like, okay, this all goes into these different spots. Okay. Marie added here that advertising, office supplies, fare fees, travel mileage, SFR, postage, donations, meals, websites are the categories that her tax lady gave her. So that's pretty much what I have up here too. So advertising, if you do a post on Facebook to boost your business page, if you put a thing in your local paper, or if they have, sometimes they have flyers where you can buy, you know, a square for, you know, that month's, you know, weekly mailer. If you do something like that, that all goes into advertising. Anything that you consider advertising, boom, goes right in there. If you get stuff from Vistaprint that you're passing out, that could be advertising or office supplies you can find in your spot. Flights are pretty self-explanatory. Gifts, these for me are like team gifts. So if someone on my downline earns a gift, whatever I spend on that goes in here. or if I'm getting gifts for customers, whatever, that can all go in here. Work clothing. This is fun. So this is anything that you brand yourself with. If it says Scentsy on it, you can write it off. So if you are buying from any of those awesome sites that make fantastic Scentsy clothing, or if you're getting them from the Scentsy family store, they can go in here. Like Marie said, vendor show, fair fees goes right here. I won't have any of these this year because of COVID. Thanks, COVID. So gone. Event payments, whatever you paid for SFR to join virtually, or if you were lucky like me and got to go to World Tour, or if you had the smaller kit sent to you, whatever you paid for World Tour goes right in here. Okay. Training. This applies to outside training. So if you, like I know the girl who just spoke, Kendra Hall, she is doing a masterclass of storytelling. If you decide that you think that that would really help with your business and you pay and you do that training, that can be a business write-off because you are taking it for your business and that is the whole reason you're doing it. You can write it off. Okay, right here. Postage, that's self-explanatory, friends. Airport parking, again, self-explanatory. Miles driven. For me, I use a great app. I'm going to pull it up on my phone right now. It is called Mile IQ. I'm going to say that again, Mile IQ. And what it is, I have an iPhone, so I'm just going to show you guys from the iPhone. It's this little guy here. Sorry, it's hard to see. Just write Mile IQ. But what it does is it tracks every time you drive from one place to another and saves that drive. And then you go back through. So it's not one of those ones where you have to turn it on and turn it off every time you go in and out of the car. If I had to do that, there's no way I would ever remember to do it. And all my miles that I drive a lot of, believe me, guys, I have a car. I just bought my car in April 2018, and I am about to put 50,000 miles on it. And it was at 12 miles when I bought it. So I drive a lot. I know Marie drives a lot. So when you're driving that much, do not waste the opportunity to take advantage of that. Okay. That's huge. So Mile IQ saves every single one every time I drive. And all I have to do is swipe, I think it's swipe right for business and swipe left for personal. And that's it. And it saves it for you. And then it calculates out for you. It is the stupid easiest app ever. And I pay $5 a month for it, which again is a business write-off. So I can write that off underneath office supplies or work apps right here. I have it under work apps. I can write that off. Plus I can write down all the miles I drove in that year that were business related, and my tax professional can help take that off my business. Okay. So hotels, self-explanatory. Meals when you travel. This counts for if you're going around and doing deliveries and you stop for lunch. Save that receipt, write it down. That is a work lunch. Let's say you go out to lunch with your friends and you start talking Scentsy and start telling them about how awesome your business is. Save that receipt. Save that receipt because you talked about Scentsy. You told them how awesome it was. You know, whatever. That is a business write-off. Okay. Be smart about it. Make sure. And for a while in my first year, it took me a while to remember to grab my receipts because it's just not something you're used to doing. You're usually like, oh, I don't need the receipt. Now you might need to. Now you might need the receipt and then just recycle it later. Reunion incentive trip. This is another one where I just start to write down other stuff, any other incidental stuff that happens. Work apps, again, anything that you use. If you use Photify, if you use Canva, if you use that Mile IQ app, if you use, oh God, what other apps could you possibly pay? I know I've got them on here. I've got other apps that I use. I use WordSwag for making cute pictures and stuff. There are so many different apps. Whatever you use goes here. And then also your website subscriptions. So every month you have a $10 write-off because you're writing off your business. You need your workstation. I mean, I need my workstation. I don't know how people do it without it. There are some who do. It's bananas to me, but they do. So that's $120 right there for the year. If you subscribe to any other regions, so let's say for me, I have to subscribe to Canada because I have family in Canada that buys from me. If you subscribe to Australia or Region 3 and you can sell in Region 3 or you can recruit in Region 3, that's $5 a month too. That's a subscription. If you have an outside website, instead of having, so like I have Kids Safe Candles as a browser name. And when people click on that, it brings them to my website. I can write down on this. To subscribe to other regions, you go to your accounts tab. It's in your accounts tab. So all of these things are write-offs, okay? You just have to make sure that you are looking for different ways, anyways, to save yourself, from having to pay in or even pay more. I mean, this is a great opportunity to save a lot of money. And I know I don't have anyone personally on my team, but I've heard many of my friends talk about how they will have doctors sign up to sell Scentsy because it's a business. They need the tax write-offs, right? So there's lots of different ways that you can, I mean, hey, if you take out lunch, you can still write that off. If you're driving through, because you have this, that, and the other thing, I mean, writing it out, yes, and okay, and just kind of writing out is eye-opening on how much I spent versus what I made. In the first couple of years, it's gonna be like ick. It feels like you're spending more than you're making, but you're not. Marie, are you gonna add to this? I see you moving a little bit. I feel like you're ready to speak on this.
I just wanted to say, don't panic. Because it does, once you kind of get a hang of what you should be spending versus what you're making, it all like balances out and you're like, oh, like when I got my email today, I just sit down with my notebook and I sit down and I write down and I'm like, okay, I have to pay to taxes this month. I have my business write-off. I make a payment to the credit card if I need to. I have my donation, and I just go down and I'm like, okay, business, 10 or 15%, depending on the month. Automatically, I know 20 to 25% for my taxes, probably 25, because you can't forget that we do pay taxes on incentives. So if you earn a warmer or the summer incentive, there is a tax that you pay on that. If you earn the fall incentive, like the Disney World, there will be a tax that you will be charged on that. And everybody's like, what? There's taxes that we have to pay on that? Well, yes, there is, but you're not paying full price for your trip. So you need to keep that in mind. It does count as income. So you just make sure that you spread, you need to keep 20% of that value, and you just add a couple extra percent to what you're keeping from your income every month. So I have a separate Scentsy savings account, and I don't even see that money. The money goes in, it goes directly to that savings account, and it is not even something I ever see. I transfer it directly from my pay portal into that savings account. So I don't see that it's going there. And then, like Molly said, sometimes you need to pay a little, sometimes you don't. I use that to pay my accountant when she does my taxes. And again, there's another write-off. Save those receipts. If you have a good accountant, keep using them. But don't panic, because it's very likely in the first couple of years that you take a loss. A lot of people do. And I think I went 5 years, and because of all my write-offs with miles, because like Molly said, I drive a lot with miles and earned incentives, and I was not good at budgeting until basically until we met our friend Shelby Cundy, and that she kicked our ass. That's basically what happened.
That's who we got this budget plan from. Yeah.
But ever since I've been doing that, we met her at Director Boot Camp, it's been so eye-opening and amazing. And I just have a notebook, and because I'm more of a pen and pencil person versus Molly is, does everything on Excel. So, as I'm putting it out, I'm like, okay, well, and when the money's gone, it's gone. Like, I don't take from our family checking account for anything Scentsy. If I don't have money in my business account for business purchases, when this otter comes out, then I'm not getting the otter. And, if I run out of catalogs, everybody will get a flip catalog or the link the link directly to my website, or the catalog that's at the bottom of your PWS. There are ways to get around it. If you're not doing parties, don't spend the money on the testers. Like, and it adds up so quick. If you're not doing parties, don't buy the Bring Back My Bar collection. Buy a couple of your favorites, buy your favorite 6-pack and market the hell out of that 6-pack. Don't buy the whole $120 worth of stuff. So I'm going to get off my little soapbox here.
No, you're fine. Thank you.
But just don't keep track of what you're spending. If you sit down at the beginning or on payday and you have, okay, 20% to taxes, boom, done. It's out of your hands and it's taken care of. Then you're not going to be worrying about it at the end of the fiscal year. So, and if you ever have questions, don't even hesitate to reach out to your director or somebody who's been in the business longer than you, because we've all screwed up, and it's better to learn from our mistakes than to make those mistakes yourself, or, at least catch yourself in those mistakes early on versus be in 7-8 years and be like, holy shit, what happened? Like, it got so out of control, and then you're so frustrated with yourself that you want to give up, but you could be in a really great position. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say. That made way longer than I meant to. Sorry.
No, that's fine. It's great, because then you hear it from a different voice, and you've been doing this 10 years. So Marie is a wealth of knowledge. And like she said, if you reach out and someone isn't sure, ask us, because, that's why we're here. That's why we do this. And Katie had asked earlier, do they take taxes out of our commission? And they do not. So you are responsible for your taxes. You are responsible for this. I want to piggyback on what Marie said too. Scentsy is amazing because so she talked about how when they do reunion for us, yes, we have to pay taxes on it, but they don't count it as a gift. They count it as income for us, which saves us a shit ton on taxes. I'm sorry to swear, but dear Lord in heaven, it is a gift to us, because my husband makes bonuses from his company and they take up to 40% out for taxes. It's insane. So if he earns $1,000, guess what? He's only going to get about 500, some of it, because it is labeled as a gift as opposed to income. So they are very smart about the way that they do it for us, because technically, it is kind of income. We earned it, but they could be doing it as a gift, which would screw us like magnificently. So the way that they do it is so beautiful. And I'm so thankful to them, because it would be insane. It would just be insane. So, like Marie said, yes, you want to spend money because it does help you, but in the moment, don't get too caught up. Don't get too caught into, I need to buy this, I need to buy this, I need to buy this, because you don't. I'm going to tell you once again, friends, you have your kit. If you just need one set of transition testers, so be it. Right now on COVID, my testers are usually out all the time. I have one bag out right now because people don't want touchy stuff. They just take my word for it. I am doing something that Jesse showed me the other day. I'm waiting for my bars to come in, but I'm making a 6-pack of samples. Jesse, do you have it right there that you can show? But it's a little 6-pack of samples of her favorite 6 scents or 6 new scents, or I forget, I'm not sure how she's doing it, but it's just little, she took wax and is just pouring it out, making the little samples and mailing them off to her best customers. So that way, hey, they're still getting new scents. They're still smelling something great. And all you have to buy is a 6-pack of bars. And once they're gone, they're gone. And then pay for the shipping to send those out, which might be a little bit more. But if it gets in under noses and they share it with people, it'll be worth
And
it.
don't be full price for that 6-pack either. Use your hostess rewards and use your perpetual party reward to get that 6-pack for $15 US versus $30 full price. You have to work smarter, not harder in this business, because if you don't, you'll be dragging in no time. And there's so many like quick tips that people think of, and you don't sometimes you don't share them because you think that, oh, that's too small. No piece of knowledge is too small, and no question is stupid. So do Terry. Share what you've discovered, because I've been in here almost 11 years. Katie's been doing this, almost 12 years now. We're still learning new stuff, and things are changing so much. 10 years ago, like Facebook wasn't even what it is now. And now Facebook is kind of, it's a different animal now than it was before. So you're always learning and evolving, and any knowledge is good knowledge. So share it with whoever will listen. And if nobody responds, it doesn't mean nobody's seen it. You have to remember that. So if you share something in Together We're Better page, you'll see my posts, like nobody's liking them, nobody's interacting, but I know that I can see that people have looked at them. So if something I said resonated with somebody, awesome. If it's something somebody read and didn't need, awesome. But if my little bit of whatever I had to say helped somebody, that was the goal. So share.
Amen. Amen, Marie. 1000%, because you never know who might not know. I mean, there's always someone who has joined after you, or there's someone who, like me, who all of a sudden, like, the person who shared the Oreos thing blew my mind. I'm like, I need to eat Oreos, and which is terrible because I'm trying to lose weight right now. But at the same time, I'm like, but it's a tax write-off. I can write off those Oreos and I eat them all. And then after I've eaten all those Oreos, I can go for a walk with my Scentsy sweatshirt on, and I can be repping my business, and people see me with a Scentsy sweatshirt on, and I'm trying to lose all that weight, but I still have like a new system. Like, that is genius. And whoever thought of that, bow down to whoever that was, because it was gorgeous. Because, people are always looking and digging through testers and, whatever. This way you just, beautiful. There's always things to share. I mean, and if you see something that I've shared and you're like, okay, where did you get that? Or, I see people asking Jessie, where'd you get the clamshells? I got them too, but I got the heart ones. I don't know if you saw those, and I can share that link if anybody wants it. Like I said, I haven't gotten mine yet, but I need to. They're coming soon. But and it's just a new way to get stuff underneath. You just need to be a little more creative in this time of COVID, where we don't have the resources we're used to, which also can save you money, because if you're doing everything on Facebook is free to market, friends. Facebook is so free. You can pay to boost your page, but 90% of the time I try to do it and they're like, oh, there's something wrong with your post, we can't post it. And I'm like, well, screw you. Okay, fine. I'm just going to not post on this. And I get all angry and I walk away and whatever. But you find another way to do it. I mean, there's so many different ways to do this business that there's really there's wrong ways. Don't get me wrong. There are wrong ways to do certain things, but there's no, I don't know. I guess I think you get what I'm trying to say. Like, as long as you're sharing, and if you feel like you know everything, then there's something wrong, because not everybody knows everything. And if you, like my husband always tells my kid, because my kid's he's 14 and he's in this phase where he knows everything. Just ask him. Swear. Just ask him. He knows everything. And my husband will look him in the eye and go, if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you need to get a new room, because yeah, you are not. You need to find a new room, because yeah, big fish, little pond type thing. Yeah, you need to find a new room because you're not challenging yourself. It's basically what he's trying to say. So does anybody, I know we covered a lot of information and a lot of it can be like in your brain right now. So does anyone have any questions for us about either budgeting or tax stuff? We will do our best to help you with tax stuff. If we don't know the answer, we will find it, because we have a couple friends who work in taxes as their full-time job and then help out with Scentsy. Or they also, we have people that have been doing this. I will say, while you guys think of a question, there is a group, a tax group that I used to recommend, but unfortunately they had some major drama happen this past week. And the person in charge of the group basically said that my word is God, and she didn't like other people posting in there. And so I won't recommend that group anymore, but there is a video by Cherita Jones. I'll share it on the page. I've heard it's very good, and she just did it recently about tax stuff. So I'll share that. I'll find that afterwards and share that. But I won't recommend that group anymore, just because I've heard a lot of hateful stuff coming out of it, and I don't want to put anybody in a group with that kind of drama, because I don't need that in my life and I don't want you guys to have to deal with that. So yeah. Yeah. Anybody have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself and just go for it. Wow, I soak down water. I talk so much in these things. I feel like a sponge afterwards. I need to like rehydrate. Terry says, can someone take away my credit card? Oh, credit card. I'm a Dave Ramsey girl. Don't talk to me. Oh, don't do
credit card in a Tupperware full of water and freeze it.
Yep. Put it in the freezer. Cut it in half. Get rid of it.
The bad thing is the new computer saves the credit card. So all I have to do is click and it puts all the information in. I don't want to look at my balance right now.
I've refused to put my credit card in there for that purpose exactly. I have okay. And I'll tell you guys this too about when it comes to budgeting, because Marie talked about this and I just remembered this. So for credit cards, I have a Disney card and we only put big stuff on it and or any type of stuff over $100 and pay it off right away, because we want those Disney points. We are huge Disney freaks and I want extra money to spend at Disney when I go. But when it comes to budgeting, I have 3 bank accounts. Okay. And this is just what works for me, because I was really bad at taking from my tax money and putting it towards business supplies when I should not have been doing that. Okay. Naughty. So I have an account, like Marie said, where my tax money and my travel money goes into an account, and I never go to that bank. I never see that money. It's gone. Okay. Then my business account, I have a business account that's where any business supplies come from. So, anything that I put in there, business, done. And then the rest goes to my family account, my joint account with my husband. That's what works for me. So, and they're at 3 different banks, but that's what works for me, because then it makes me really have to think, okay, am I going to take money from this bank account and move it over here? It makes it hurt more to move things around instead of just saying, oh, I'm going to take it from my savings to move to my checking. If you have, your tax money as your savings account, but then your checking money is your business account, it's way too easy to rob from yourself. So that's what I do. That's what works for me. If you're more disciplined, I applaud you. I am not. I'm like, ooh, that's bright and shiny. I want that otter right now. I want that jellyfish right now. Oh, but I already spent all my business money. Oh, well, maybe I can steal from my tax money because I never pay in for taxes anyway. Molly, stop it. So that's what I have to do. Yeah. And that's what works for me. I don't know. Jesse, as a Canadian, do you want to add anything to this? I don't know that we have any Canadians watching right now, but they might watch the replay. And I just want to see if there's something you'd like to add to this.
So it's kind of like the same thing. Like a lot of the things that you do is the same things that I do. Like I have a business account set up that's totally, two of us for sure are Canadian. Well, it's the same. We do, I have separate bank account at one bank for all my Scentsy business. So up here in Canada, we do a lot of email transfers. We don't do PayPal and Venmo or whatever it is that you guys always talk about. And I feel like y'all are talking Greek to me because I don't know what that is. We do interact email transfer. So from their bank account to ours. So the first thing that I did was, oh, my computer's done. Set up my own, and it's a Scentsy bank account specifically for that, where I will accept all the email transfers for my business into that bank account. That way, the only money that touches my personal bank account comes off my Scentsy card. So that's my money. And then I have my savings account and stuff like that that I tap into my kids' banks. All my kids have bank accounts, but that's different. But when it comes to taxes, it's a lot of the same thing. It was like year 2, I think I started having my taxes done for me because it just became, there was so much I thought I knew that I didn't about things that I could write off. I don't know if it's the same in the States, but in Canada, I write off my homeowner's insurance, my house alarm system. That's all, a portion of that is all tax deductible for us. If you pay rent at your home, I don't know actually if that is different than if you own your home. Like we own our home, so I'm allowed to write it off. I don't know when it comes to renting. You'd have to ask your tax specialist about that. But absolutely having somebody that you can even talk to about it is always a good thing. But yeah, I have separate bank accounts for everything, just like you. And I take a portion of my taxes and just plug it away, and it's never very much. Like I think I put away 15 or 20% just in case, and then we just kind of go from there. But no, everything pretty much that you've said, I've said or I've done, and that's how I do it. So not a whole lot different.
Cool.
Also phones, because I know personally, I am like 100% I use my phone for my business. So that's a huge write-off for us every year. And like you were saying, space in your house, that is also a write-off. So yeah, when you said that made me think that my tax lady just automatically does it. That's not something I keep track of, except for the phone thing. So.
And for us that have our house internet, like your Wi-Fi charges, all of those things, it's not 100% write-off, obviously, but I mean, I just write what it is monthly, and then I let her do her job, because like I said, for me, it's too much. And if I get audited, and I've been audited since I started with Scentsy. And for me, like there's business expenses that I know that I've bought, but I can't find the receipt for. Guess what? I'm not writing them off. I bought a new computer probably about 3 years ago, lost the receipt, did not write it off. That's the year I got audited. I was like, thank goodness. Cause she's like, well, you should be fine. And like my mom, not my tax lady. She's like, you'll be fine. You'll never get audited. What are the chances? And I was like, okay, well, maybe, because it was like a $600 write-off. So I'm like, well, maybe. And I didn't. And I was like, no, I can't. If I don't have the damn receipt physically in my hand, I'm not writing it off. And that's the year I got audited. And I was like, oh my God, like that's big. So I was like, good thing and be honest, don't lie on your taxes. It's not worth it.
Katie Jones, is there anything you want to add to this?
Well, along with what Jesse said, I have to confess my son called, so I ducked out for just a second. But I don't know if you covered my tax accountant said we don't have a house cleaner, especially because of COVID, but those things like that, you can write off a percentage. Lawn care services, our mortgage, utilities, internet, phone. You guys just talked a little bit about all that, but you'll be amazed at I think one of the best perks about Scentsy, or one of the many perks, is tax write-offs, the money that you can save too.
Your Scentsy
So,
Club subscription.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the list just can go on and on and on. So, and I got audited once too, Jesse, but that was my own fault. I just started Scentsy. I was still doing my own taxes, and I doubled something with my expenditures and by accident. They were nice to me though, thank goodness. It didn't hurt as bad as I thought once I figured out just how naive I was. So.
Yeah, they're usually super nice about it, but I mean, it's a scary, scary like position to be in, especially if like you were legit, like, oh my God, I thought I did it right, and then you're panicking, like, did I write something down wrong? Like, no, I'm friends, I'm so horrible at math, so I let them do it. And my husband too, he's very, very good at math. Like, he's a data scientist, so math is his job. And he said this year, he says this every year. He goes, I think I'm going to do it this year. I think I'm going to do our taxes so we don't have to pay the accountant, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay. And then as soon as we get the tax things, he's like, nah, no, I'm just going to have Harlan do it. Yeah, let's just keep him. I'm like, I knew you were going to say that because we don't want to get audited. But he's like, well, I feel like I could, but I just don't want to miss something. And then, I'm like, exactly.
Yeah, it's no fun being audited. I didn't sleep for a week before. I was so scared.
Also, a really good thing with getting, sorry, it's Brandy here. A really good thing about getting your taxes done by a professional is that expense is a tax write-off for the next year.
That's right.
So in the way, like, it really pays to get a professional to do it because they know all the ins and outs and they know all the secrets to get you the most money back possible. And like, you're not going to go to a dentist for heart surgery. So let the professionals do their job.
Yeah, they want to get you back the most money possible because then you come back to them next year.
And it's word of mouth as referral, as we know.
Because most of them, while they, might work for a company, a lot of them are, contracted through that company so they can, set how much they make and, they get more for having more people, obviously. So.
All right. If you guys are looking for an accountant, I just thought about it with Brandy Bling that put a plug in for the accountant we've been using for ever since I got audited is a guy here in Utah that actually the founders of Scentsy started using. So he was already familiar with Scentsy. So we started using him and I think he's probably got over 100 Scentsy consultants that go with him. So he knows the Scentsy business inside and out. He is here in Utah. I know Dijon, we talked about him once. So I don't know if you're going to go out of state. But if you are looking for somebody, he's been good to us, and I know he's been really good with other consultants. And since he does know all the write-offs we qualify for, he makes sure that we really get them all. So if you need his name or number, let me know. I'll send it to you.
Thanks, Katie. Does anybody else have any questions before we close up shop for the night, or anything you want to add too?
I just want to thank you, Molly and Marie and Jesse, for doing these weekly calls. I appreciate you guys taking the time.
Well, and this is one of my favorite ones to talk about. I didn't prepare for this at all. Usually I'm like watching a few videos or doing stuff and I'm like, nope, I know this one. I've had this beaten into my head so much that it's become fun even. It's fun to like, see like, ooh, I get to put this much towards family money this month. Yeah. I tell my husband, guess how much I brought home this month? And he's just like, okay. And I'm like, I'm excited, get excited. Yeah. If you know my husband, he's very mellow and like chill. And then there's me and yeah. So it's really fun. It can get fun. Don't be scared of it and don't let it overwhelm you and don't let it wait till the last minute, just do it in little pieces and, just take your time with everything. Don't let this be scary. It can be scary at first, especially if like you're looking at it and you're like, oh my God, I'm losing money. Then you just need to do some tweaking. And it doesn't have to be scary, and it doesn't have to be, overwhelming. This is a nice way to bring it down. So start with a budget if you want. I recommend it. And then go from there. But again, if you guys have any questions, please ask us or your sponsors or whoever you feel comfortable talking to. All right. I'm going to let everybody go for the night, and we will see you next week. Next week, we have Superstar Director Cassie Shaw. We went to boot camp with her, and she's going to be talking about creating team community and helping you bond and create really good communication and friendships with your downline. So she's going to come talk to us next week about that. She's really, really good at this. So I'm excited she's going to come share with us. So yay, guest speaker. All right. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.